It's the second weekend of the season away at Pittodrie. This is a starting 11 prediction. The manager's got big decisions to make, both in midfield and in the forward line. Here we go. Yes, what's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel. This is the starting 11 prediction for tomorrow's trip to Pittodrie. It's match day 2 in the Scottish Premiership. We got off to a winning start last weekend, albeit not at absolute best. You'd hope that the levels will get better as the season goes on, and as we've discussed at length, hopefully we'll add some fresh faces to the squad as well. Aberdeen didn't get off to a good start. They played on Monday night at Tynecastle against Hearts. They lost 2-0. The big observation from an Aberdeen point of view in their early season games is that they look a bit blunt up front. You could say the same in terms of ourselves as well at the minute. Not quite free flowing, not quite at our best going forward, maybe with the options that we've got in that area. But Aberdeen certainly last week against Hearts did look like they lacked a bit of punch going forward whenever they got chances in front of goal. So we'll see how this game pans out. It is being billed as a revenge mission for the Scottish Cup final. Of course, it is. That is the sort of narrative that will tie itself to this game. You can understand that there may well be something in the players' heads that they do want to go and win this game, give them an extra edge, possibly because that will be in their mind. 'Cause it's the last time that we faced Aberdeen, that penalty shootout defeat at Hampden back in May. But there's no doubt it is all just about getting another 3 points on the board. The players know what this is like to go through a season where you have to go to all these difficult places. We do have a brilliant record up at Pittodrie. We're unbeaten in the last 18 league visits there, going back to a 2-1 defeat in February 2016. I'm sure some of you remember that game. So while it is a tough place to go, the record has been strong up there. And like I say, I'm sure the players are motivated to go and get 3 points tomorrow. It's all about trying to start the game fast, and hopefully this weekend we can show a bit more incision, a bit more creativity, and have a bit more about us in that final third, because I think that's the thing that was just lacking against St Mirren last Sunday. We did have chances in the game. I know we hit the post a couple of times. In fact, 3 times I think it was. Negrin in the first half, Tati's sort of deflected shot that hit the bar, hit the goalkeeper, then hit the post, and then Ida hit the post later on as well. So we did have chances in the game, but watching the game over the course of 90 minutes, you did just feel that we were lacking some of that usual speed and fluidity, certainly that we saw at the start of last season, that you come to associate with this team. And I think going back to how we finished the last campaign and the sort of lulls that we had there, that was more reminiscent of that last weekend going forward at times than it was where we were at the beginning of the last campaign. We were blowing teams away, starting games really well. So hopefully we can get a fast start tomorrow and keep this brilliant record at Pittodrie going. So let's turn our attention then to the lineup. Remember, if this is the first time you've ever watched these videos, this is the team that I think Brendan Rodgers will pick, not necessarily the team that I would pick. Kasper Schmeichel will be in goals. Not too much for him to do last weekend. He is someone who I'm sure will be fully focused on this game and keen to put in a good performance after the high-profile error he had against Aberdeen in the cup final. Back four, I expect to be unchanged. Johnston, Carter, Vickers, Scales and Tierney. Tierney obviously came off and we were all concerned that he might have been injured around about the 60-minute mark, 65 minutes last week. I think it was just cramp. I'm sure he'll be fine. He's just getting up to speed, getting minutes into his legs at the beginning of the season. He hasn't had a long run of playing consecutive games over the last couple of seasons, Kieran Tierney, so it will take him a bit of time just to get up to full sharpness and full condition. Scales got the nod last weekend. It's clear that he's still ahead of Trusty in the manager's mind as it is. When Tierney came off, Scales did go to left back, Trusty came on. I know that a lot of you were very keen to highlight how well Scales played last weekend. I do think it's a bit of a hole in the squad that he has to get shoehorned into left back though. When Tierney comes off, I thought he did do well. I thought Trusty did well when he came on in the game as well. Simpson Pusey's not ready yet. Don't think he'll take any part in this game. Brendan Rodgers seems to think that he's not had a full pre-season, so it's going to take him a bit of time to get up to speed, so he's not really in contention yet. So I expect that to be the back four tomorrow. Moving into midfield, McGregor in the deeper position, Hatate and Luke McCowan changed the game last weekend. He had a really good influence on it, showed great tenacity. When he came on, he always does. He gives us a bit of energy, a bit of bite in midfield, some quality as well. He got a bit of luck with the goal, but a really nice touch just to get himself a half yard and get the strike away. And I think, again, throughout pre-season, he did his chances no harm, but this is probably one of these ones where I think Brendan Rodgers should put Luke McCowan in because of the energy that he's brought to the midfield, particularly last weekend off the bench. But I feel like he'll go with Negrin and he'll stick with him. There could be a shout for Engels as well, possibly. But I think Brendan Rodgers right now has this picture in his mind that McGregor, Hatate, Negrin is going to be the midfield three, and I don't think he's going to bin it after one game. So I expect Negrin to start tomorrow. I think last weekend you could put it down to a bit of nerves, a bit of, I guess it's his debut, first game at Celtic Park. I think the whole team was a bit flat over the piece, and I think Negrin was also a wee bit untidy at times. Nearly scored a good goal, right enough. The keeper saved it onto the bar. I just think he was a wee bit untidy on the ball at times, and he played a wee bit safe. So you'd expect to see more from him as he settles into the team, as he gets to understand how the team plays, what the manager expects from him. But I do expect that to be the midfield three. Please let me know in the comments below if you would change that. Do you think Brendan Rodgers will change it? Do you think he should change it? Because like I say, I think McCowan should be in contention for a start given the impact that he had last weekend. Front three, this is the area of the pitch where we're a bit short in terms of numbers and in quality. James Forrest was, I think, the most pivotal player off the bench last weekend and gave us real impetus. I think he might start in this game tomorrow. Now, it wouldn't surprise me to see Yang get the nod again because James Forrest does find himself in this place where he's a really good impact player off the bench. We've watched that over the last season or two, where he's come on late in games and he's been really, really effective. While Brendan Rodgers thinks that, again, being 34 years of age, it's better to bring him off the bench and get a strong 25 minutes, half an hour out of him than it is 60, 65 minutes from the start. I think Yang, though, was a bit anonymous last weekend. I think everybody knows where my thoughts are on him in terms of his future at Celtic and whether he should even be in contention for starts at any time. But for him to be one of the first choice players, I think highlights the weaknesses in that position. But I'm just going to go with Jamesy for the start tomorrow. A lot of experience against Aberdeen. Again, good performance off the bench last weekend. I think he might get the nod, but toss a coin. Wouldn't surprise me to see Yang start again. Dyson on the left-hand side, and again, Ida through the middle. I would love to see Yamada. I really would like to see Shin Yamada. I think he's the unknown quantity up front, bringing him in the summer. We only saw a glimpse of him in that friendly against Al Ahly, where he looked relatively bright. Not enough to judge him on. We've watched some clips of him and saw that he's obviously got a goal in him. His movement's really good. I would like to see more of him. Brendan Rodgers, though, did opt for Johnny Kenny last weekend off the bench, and he nearly bit the head off of the reporter who asked him why he did that in the pre-match press conference for this game yesterday. Which on one hand I understand, because it's like undermining to ask a manager, why did you bring on that player instead of that player, when he did make subs and went on to win the game. So I understand, given the sort of energy that Brendan Rodgers might be carrying just now, given the questions that he needs to field week in and week out, why he might have been a bit sensitive about that one. But personally, I would like to see more of Yamada, just to try and gauge the sort of impact he can make on this squad this season. Dyson, maybe a wee while since he's been on the score sheet, Dyson Maeda. Again, I think carrying the expectations of last season into this campaign and thinking that he can match those levels and match the goal scoring output, 34, 35 goals last season, it's going to be really, really difficult for him to maintain those levels. And we have saw that over previous seasons, watching Celtic with loads of different players who have an absolutely stellar season, but those seasons tend to be one-offs, and they tend to be relatively rare, other than the man behind me on the wall. I think when you score 35 to 40 goals a season, it does tend to be a bit of an anomaly. Remember, Griffiths got 40 and never replicated that again in another season. There's been some exceptional seasons where players have just been at this really high level, and then the next season there is a natural drop-off. That tends to be the case. Hopefully Dyson can find the net soon. I think that would do his confidence the world of good, but we know that we were going to get out of Dyson. Tireless running, tireless work rate, and really he's had a few nice assists through pre-season, and again I think he should have had one or two last weekend as well. He put that ball across the face of the goal, where I think if Yang had read the cross better, he could have been in the right position to tap it into an empty net after Dyson went round the keeper. But like I say, I think it'll be difficult for him to reach the levels of last season, but the thing that we can rest on is that he's going to give us absolutely everything like he always does. And Ida, again, another big, every game's a big game for Celtic, but also particularly for Adam Ida, while he's got this opportunity to prove something to us. I know a lot of you, and I get this sense myself, that you feel like you just want more from him to be the number one Celtic striker, more about his all-round game, more about the intelligence in his movement, possibly his work rate at times, his touches, his link-up play. Like I say, and I keep saying it, he will score his goals, but to be the number one Celtic striker, we have this sense that we need more from him. And if he's going to get the nod tomorrow, it's another chance for him, and we'll see how it goes. But that's 11 I think Brendan might pick for the game tomorrow. You can let me know who you would select in the comments below. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. About 40% of you that will watch this aren't subscribed. The content is absolutely free. It always has been. A great way to support the channel is just to log into YouTube and click the red subscribe button below. I'll see you tomorrow at Pittodrie with the full-time reaction. Cheers.